Welcome back to another episode of The Verdict, a fantastic start for the Springboks in the Autumn Nations series. 61 points to 7 victory over Japan. Who will ever forget that loss in 2015 against Japan? I am trying to forget that, but we never will. But it was a fantastic weekend also for South Africa and South African sports. Well done to the Protea cricketers, the ladies. Unfortunately not making it in the final, but they've made us so proud. Great fighting performance. Laura Wolfhard as the captain. Another century in that final, along with a century in the semi-final. Fantastic performance from her. I was privileged enough to be at the 90th birthday of Mr. Gary Player, an absolute legend of South African sport. Arguably one of the best that we've ever had in the sporting community in South Africa. Congratulations, Mr. Player. You are a legend and an example for all of us. I am carrying the show once again because Shimmy is gallivanting like always. He's on tour and he loves a tour. He is still crying about that leg of his, but he is not with us today. And Skalk Burger has exchanged his seat in the studio for a saddle on a bike to cycle a little bit this week. So I am joined by Robbie Fleck and Rito Hlungwani.
Thank you, John. Good to be back.
It's lovely to have you back. Rito, your debut.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really looking forward to it.
We're also looking forward to it and all your insight. It's great to have coaches here. I don't know why you guys decide to go into coaching. Eh? Can you explain the thought process of deciding to become a coach?
I'm sure we also don't know, right?
But guys, a good performance by the Boks. A good start for the series. We won't go into the game yet. The injury to Ox. I think you take the victory, and obviously it's a good start for us. How big is that loss?
Massive. Massive. One of the most experienced loose heads we have right there. So it's going to be a challenge to fill up his shoes and see who can take that position.
It's Ox has been and Shimmy's a massive fan as well. He said that Ox is probably one of our most valuable players. The impact in the scrum, our ability to force the opposition in conceding penalties at scrum time. Ox is a big player in terms of that. We didn't get the return this weekend, Flecky, but the depth that we've created within the Springbok squad. Is that part of the success and just the growth of this team?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you miss someone like that,
Yeah.
which is big, and we'll see maybe their impact a little bit later. But they just go on.
Yeah, John, I was going to say exactly that. That's the key to the success of this book, side at the moment, is the depth that they've created in every single position. So, of course, Ox is a massive player for us, and he will be missed, when it comes against Ireland and England. But the depth that they've created in that position over the last couple of months is critical to the way we go forward. And, something could happen in a World Cup where you lose the likes of Ox and you need, the next generational player coming through. And I think they did exceptionally well.
The challenge of France this week, and we'll again get into that, and the challenge of Ireland also in a couple of weeks' time. You're confident that we'll be able to kind of bridge the gap between Ox and the next guy?
I think so. I mean, look, obviously France have got their own challenges now at the moment. They're missing a few key players, but there will be, heavy pack, strong scrummage, strong set piece. So Ox will be missed, but I certainly believe the way we've gone about our ways the last couple of months, the last couple of test matches, that the youngsters coming through can certainly match that and better them.
Rito, 13 places separate the Boks and Japan rankings-wise. And I think eventually, that was evident in the game. But from a coaching point of view, Eddie Jones, the discipline on the weekend just wasn't good enough from Japan. 2 yellow cards, a penalty try. The yellow converted to a red. That's an absolute coach killer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Japan was really squeezed and put in that position. You can't stop 5 mauls close to the try line. Eventually, you're going to make a mistake. And the amount of tackles they had to make, eventually one of the guys had to make a mistake and put a terrible tackle.
And is that just the pressure that we are able to apply from a defensive point of view, from a ruck pressure point of view, from a set phase point of view, and then now you add this attacking play that we're adding to our game. we are getting close to really playing a fantastic brand of rugby, right?
Yeah, I think where it was probably to be expected to give away a couple of more penalties from Japan's side, and there was inevitably going to be a yellow card at some stage, with the illegal sacking of the maul. But what was interesting was that one of the tackles was a head high shot, which was a yellow card. But you got to think about how does that come about. Generally the Japanese guys are a little bit smaller than our big ball carriers, so that means that we are carrying exceptionally low at the moment.
Yeah.
So you talk about our attack, how it's evolved. It's also a fact that we're not upright in the way we carry anymore. We're carrying low. We definitely won that height battle, and that's led to the mistake. So I agree, it's a combination of everything working together that delivers the pressure and the yellow cards. But there's certain parts to our game that we weren't good at a couple of, a year or two ago that we have ramped up now, certainly. And body height is one of them.
And it just feels the intensity, you speak about body height, but our intensity on attack and defense, it's relentless.
Yeah.
We don't give anything easily away. Everything is a fight. And is that also just like a signature of this group? Is that they've reached these heights, but they are constantly still improving and getting better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the addition of sort of Tony Brown and Felix Jones, the coaches from different countries, have sort of added that to the Springboks. You look at how they are take off now, and it's 4 guys now taking the ball really flat. It's so difficult to make a decision to drop low because you don't know who's getting the ball until they catch it. Then it forces the guys to give those high tackles. So I think they've been doing well and adding more variation on how they attack and how quickly they get off the ground, whether it's in defense and attack.
Rito, from a coaching point of view and being part of that DHL Stormers coaching group, do you guys learn a lot from the Boks as well? Do you analyze those games and say, well, what can we do? What can we replicate in our environment as well? Because I must say, from the outside and not being obviously having insight into the Stormers group at the moment, there's a lot of similarities the way that you guys started the season, and in the way that you play to the Boks, and we've seen fantastic success.
Yeah, obviously we learn a lot from the Boks. I mean, test rugby is very different to club rugby. But one thing I have to point out is having guys like Sacha coming back from Springboks and immersing themselves in our environment really helps a lot. You will see his discipline and sticking to the plan is so much better, which also helps us. Back in the day, you'd find Sacha trying to run everything. Now you'll see him kick 2 phases, then he kicks again. So that discipline that he picks up from the Springboks, he puts back into our environment, which really helps us a lot.
Yeah, no, it's been good to see the Stormers start the way that they have, and hopefully we can see a continuation of that. Now, the massive win this weekend played into our hands in more ways than one, or should I say into Skalk and Shimmy's hands, because both of them got their Betway predictions right.
Right.
Yeah, which is very disappointing. So what we do here is we put our betting caps on. Rita?
Yeah. I'm not very good at this.
No. You're right, you're not. So, Shimmy's bet for the weekend was that more than 66.5 points would be scored in the game combined.
Right.
So that has given him 609 Rand for his bet, and Skalk's bet that the Boks would win by more than 37.5 points has given him 555 Rand for his bet. Annoyingly, I was just 5 points out with my prediction. I said that 30.5 points or more will be scored in the first half, and it was only 26 points that were scored. I was really cheering for Japan. The ball. So just to bring the Betway section up to date, Shimmy is now on top with 3,859 rands. Sculler is finally off the bottom. He's on 3,385. And I'm in third with 2,950. Okay, betting cap off. Before we get into the highlights of the Bok game, All Blacks Ireland. You watched that game? What did you make of that? What did they call it? The
The greatest rivalry?
No, that's not, no.
What are they trying to say?
The rematch. The
rematch. That's what it's called, yeah.
John, so, it was a funny game for me. I mean, I felt it was disrupted by a referee that got involved a little bit too much. Yeah. And he didn't take control of certain areas in the game, especially in and around the breakdown. And, from an Irish point of view, unlucky with the red card. I certainly believe it's a yellow card to the letter of the law, but certainly not a red card. There was no malice or, ill toward in that tackle with Taj Byrne. And I don't think it had too much of an effect on the outcome of the game because it was a 20-minute red card. And, and Ireland actually went into the break ahead. But it was a typical Irish performance, nice and structured, working hard off the ball to try and create opportunities. They came off 9 to score their try, initially. And I felt that the All Blacks were almost just cruising, and they looked like they weren't like going into the game massively confident, and they were unsure about their ability to beat Ireland. Yeah. But the second half, I mean, it was just one team. I haven't seen the All Blacks play like that this season. The last 20 minutes was seriously impressive from the All Blacks. The tries that they scored, the running lines, the hands, it was typical New Zealand rugby. Yeah. I mean, that last try that was disallowed was some of the best rugby I've seen from them this year. So there's something there that's brewing there, which is great.
The guys off the bench, I thought had a fantastic impact.
Yeah.
If you think, I think Cam Roigard has
phenomenal.
He's a great player, and he's certainly changed the decision making and the trajectory of this team and where they are going. But Wallace Satiti off the bench, Damien McKenzie, the impact off the bench, Lester Fainga-Nuku, coming on early on, Josh Lord, early on. So the guys that actually came on made a big difference, especially the last 20.
Yeah, absolutely. I always thought Ireland would struggle a little bit in the second half, considering they hadn't played a lot of rugby. New Zealand comes from the championship. The Irish players played the British and Irish Lions, and they were never really together. And they came back, didn't play the 2 games for Leinster in South Africa, and I think they probably played 1. So I knew they would be a little bit undercooked, but I didn't expect the All Blacks to be that good in the second half.
It was also like some individual performances, some individual, or not performances, moments of magic. Wallace Satiti's try, breaking Bowden Barrett, a couple of good options.
Putting McKenzie
into space, so moments in the game, but you could just see the All Blacks grow with confidence. Cam Roigard's try, having a go himself, step, score.
And you know what they're like, once they got a bit of confidence and the passes started to stick and they're running those lines, those hard offloads, running lines, they're tough to defend against. But, it begs the question though, Jean, what is Irish rugby, where are they going? The last 18 months, it seems to me it's the same sort of product all the time. They've got an aging squad. They had a couple of injuries. They brought some youngsters in. I agree with Rito that, yes, they hadn't probably played enough rugby going into this test, but there's not much change, Like, where's the game going? If we look at the Springbok game, there's a huge aerial battle that South African rugby is dominating at the moment. Do they bring that into their game? Have they brought that into the game? The All Blacks are now playing with this intensity that we know that they can do. They couldn't match it. So I just beg the question of where Irish rugby, in terms of their test side, where they're going.
The AB's Grand Slam, you reckon they'll get it?
Yes.
Yeah. They will? Okay. The biggest, Scotland had a massive victory against the USA. England will probably be the biggest test for the All Blacks. So that game, England versus Australia, it was a quite impressive, I think. Firstly, the selection of the squad, English squad, and then the performance was pretty good.
Yeah, Jean. Again, we probably spoke a little bit about it pre-show. Was that English rugby is quite similar to the South African blueprint at the moment. They're the closest to what we are doing. They've got a kicking game. They're winning the aerial battle. They're choosing players in and around their kicking game. Both the wingers, nice and, get high in the air. They contest both on their own ball and the opposition ball. They're winning the scraps around their Pollock's try. In the second half, there was the Ben Earl try that came also from, Roebuck contesting and bringing the ball back into play. When they get the ball into space, they're pretty deadly. They've got some pace out wide. They've also got Freddie Stewart, who's winning those collisions in the air.
He dominated that
Dominated,
a couple of years ago when we played them.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, we
Very good in
couldn't
there.
get a ball back.
Yeah, and then you've got Mitchell and you've got Ford, who are dominating the kicking game. They're kicking these beautiful contestable kicks. So it's very, very similar to what South Africa are doing. Then they've got a hard defensive line, incredibly hard at the breakdown with Underhill. Exactly. So they're winning those collisions, they're winning the breakdowns, and they're getting those transitions that South African rugby's got. I just don't think they've got all the players yet, and the intensity that you spoke about, intensity early on. South Africa just play at a ferocious pace at the moment. England aren't quite there yet, but they're on the app, and I certainly believe they can challenge the All Blacks.
Very much an improving team. Also, kind of call it bomb squad. You know, Pollock, Genji coming off the bench.
6-2 splits.
They were impressive off the bench as well.
I think everyone's starting to pick up that, you know, the guys that are coming off the bench are the guys that are going to win you the game. You don't really, first half or maybe with the first 10 minutes of the second half, the game is still in the balance then. So the guys that you put in the last 20, 30 minutes have to come in with proper impact. And obviously the start of the bomb squad has now given everyone ideas to do that. So we'll see how the All Blacks and the English team match up in that last 20, 30 minutes.
Because it's such a big part of the game, right? And to understand that it's 23 players, it's not 15 anymore, and it's kind of horses for courses now. You bring those guys off the bench that you know can make a massive difference. A guy like Wilco Lowe, you never thought that he would be an impact player off the bench, but his impact comes in a totally different way.
No, exactly.
We're very much certain that Wilco Lowe will always stay a front rower, right? But what do you make of Borthwick now saying, a Ben Earl, he wants to try him in the centres, a Pollock, he wants to try him on the wing? How do you go about decisions like that?
So the way I look at it, John, if you look at all the other sports that are older than rugby, if you look at soccer, started with total football, attackers started defending, defenders started attacking. You look at basketball, you used to have Shaq O'Neal. Yao Ming was the only guy that would defend him, shoots under the paint and score, but now you've got positionless players. Kevin Durant can play anywhere and he can defend anyone. And I think rugby is moving to that level where you need guys that don't specialize in one position. They can operate in the backs, like Esther Hazen, probably a good example. Kwagga Smith. You know, you look at guys like even Ross in our team, Muscle, Tinas, and they played backline. They were backline players, still high school. So we can play around with those and use it to manipulate our bench and hopefully have more impact in the second half of the game. So I think if the guys have the skills, you can move them around.
So the birth of the hybrid players here now, right? And you can't have your entire bench being hybrid. You know, you still have those specialists, but one or two guys. So Pollock, as you say, Earl, both can play in the back line. Kwagga, you know, Esther and those guys. It's certainly, if you are going to go 6-2 or 7-1, you need those hybrid players available.
You mentioned the NBA. Who's the GOAT?
I like
Jordan.
Kobe Bryant. Not even LeBron. Well,
Kobe.
The reason why I like
it's
Kobe,
Jordan. The answer is Jordan.
No, guys.
The answer is Jordan.
Okay,
guys, when we come back from the break, we will be delving into the game South Africa versus Japan. But for now, quick break, and it's back to rugby.
Cody from Paul has sold multiple vehicles to WeBuy Cars. Suspicious? I think so.
Is that a crime?
No. Where are you getting the cars?
I buy them and I sell them at the spot like a normal person.
Okay.
No, man, I'm just an accounting student. I know a good deal when I see one.
That's Excel meant. What's more stressful, tax season or selling a car at WeBuy Cars?
Tax season, obviously.
WeBuy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
Okay, guys, welcome back, and let's get into that game. From when Siya Kolisi scored that first try, it just seemed like we were the better team against Japan. The threat was always going to be Japan's attacking ability, and if they would be able to get in those outside channels and put us under pressure there. From our point of view, you know, I looked at this game and said, well, can we dominate from a kicking play point of view? You know, can we dominate the air? Can we make the racks difficult for them, and can we apply that pressure from a set phase point of view? And then defensively, how do we hold up? But I think the one area that we have improved so much on, and where we get so much return, is our kicking game. And I've just shown or clipped a couple of those circumstances, but also to see, you speak about innovation, also to see the plan for Japan here and how they try to
Lift.
to lift and take the high ball. So there we go.
Yeah.
And I'm actually just going to take it back 10 seconds. So as we play that,
So
you see that player running back. So it's obviously a set move.
That's an Eddie Jones move.
Yeah. And now you'll see them trying to take and get the lift there. They got the timing wrong.
Yeah.
And it's a difficult thing to do. But that guy competing there, Ethan Hooker, he has improved so much in that position.
Yeah, he has, and he's been a phenomenal find for the Springboks this year, in terms of what the role that he performs. But I think, as we go along in the show, is that how important is this aerial battle now for South African rugby, and the test matches that we won of late, and the key personnel that played the role in it. Ethan, Kurt-Lee, Cheslin, all these guys just putting massive pressure in the air.
And he's just so, for me, just so safe under the high ball. Again, it's not just us applying the pressure with our kicking game, but also being able to take that pressure when they kick on us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was looking at that first clip with Leeds trying to get that lift and jump off a box kick. One of the toughest things to execute as a lock is catching a kick-off ball.
Yeah.
And you're already set and you're waiting. Now think of a prop first running back, has to turn around and then lift. Such a tough
Because here they try to do the
Look at
same
that.
thing again.
You can't track, there's someone contesting.
They certainly won't be doing that again, Rito.
Yeah.
Nah.
The idea is a
sounds-
noble one,
yeah.
but I mean, in practice, well, the execution just wasn't there. We speak about the kicking game, and in this area again, we competed well, but it's getting the scraps. And this time around, they got the scrap back, put us under a little bit of pressure, but again, the work rate from the box.
Yeah, I mean, again, just phenomenal having an athlete like this at the back there, covering, any mistakes that we make or any opportunity on the counter, he's there. But we scrambled well here, Jean. I mean, normally most teams would put us to bed here, but we've done incredibly well to cover the mistake.
Yeah,
so to speak.
Because when we kick in shape, we're just so good. Each guy knows his job, and they execute it, and we are really so good at doing that. Yes, it's the skill set of seeing the situation and just playing what's in front of you, but that is the risk also with a guy like Sacha in this example here, where he gets the ball, it's a bit of a step, and then tries the banana. But the execution of the kick is a poor one, and that puts us under pressure. Whereas, if he kicked it down the touchline, it could have been great, and that's what you're going to get with them. Probably 80-20, 80 times is going to be brilliant. Every now and then, there's going to be something that maybe.
But I would say for this, Jean, that the Springboks don't mind. It's that time now where they can make mistakes, and there's no sort of problem about stop it there. You'll see there, Sacha's in the first line, so he's made a mistake. Everyone's looked at it. No one has gone, blamed him for the mistake, but he's now there in the first line trying to cover up for that mistake. I think the way that Tony Brown has come in, the way that Russie's coaching at the moment, they are encouraged to play, whatever that is, ball in hand or attacking kicking game. If it doesn't come off, doesn't matter, move on to the next thing. And they were able to then, suffocate any sort of attacking threat just by pure intention to cover the mistake.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to show you, is that maybe another team would have been able to attack a little bit better and put us under big pressure. There's a bit of space here at the back, lots of numbers. But again, our work rate, getting a line. After this, it was almost one ruck, and then we're back into our defensive shape.
Exactly.
I think the ability to start getting into shape before there's a breakdown set. I mean, at the moment, it doesn't look like, it was a terrible kick if you look at that line. If we courage here, we look more organized than them.
100%.
So that work rate to quickly fix small little errors that we get wrong is quite impressive.
It is impressive. The other area that was really impressive was our breakdown. And two guys that really stood out. Again, here's our kicking. Sacha's kicking was on point.
It's the best I've seen.
Yeah, Malcolm Marx and Jasper Visser just from a breakdown, they were immense.
John, it was clear, the tactic was to attack the attacking breakdown of Japan. I would think that they're probably, I don't know what the exact stat is, but they would probably try and get under 3 seconds at every single attacking breakdown so that they get their shape going and get their runners into some form of space. But we certainly pulverized that breakdown and we loaded it with numbers and we had the heavy, the Vissers and the Marxes and even Estes in the second half just contesting and disrupting that breakdown. So they had no shape whatsoever.
You spoke earlier about carrying height. I want to talk about tackling height.
100%.
Because have a look here. Erg Snyman. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very good.
A year ago, you'd never see that.
Yeah.
Look at that tackling out for a massively tall guy.
Yeah.
Takes away all the risk of head-high tackles. He's dipping very low.
Yeah.
And what does that provide? That provides these two guys an opportunity to have a go at the ball.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And this time around was only Malcolm.
Yeah. Yeah, very impressive. I think one big takeaway for me in this game, we always talk about a good fly-half playing in front of a strong pack. In this case, if you look at Sacha, Chesley, they're always having their pack working forward. These guys hardly have to work backwards. So everything is like, you come out of a scrum, it's a kick down the line, you're contesting a line out in the 22, or there's a box kick, there's a tackle, you can go poach right in front. They're not having to run backwards a lot. That's what gives us opportunity to flood that breakdown and put pressure. The fact that these guys always keep the peg going forward.
Rito, so what you are saying is that the backs are actually more important than the forwards.
Oh, wow.
Is that the point that I'm taking?
If they can do this, if they can keep the peg going forward, that peg looks fresh. Yeah.
I like that.
So, Jean, I think the most impressive thing for me in this Springbok performance was the defence. Okay, and we won the height battle against a side that we would never ever win a height battle against. We are body height and our body positioning, our technique. We usually would beat Japan just through, physicality.
Yeah.
But here, this Springbok side has got technique in everything that they do. Whether it's the aerial skills, contesting for the ball, our kicking skills, but here, our tackle technique, our breakdown technique, the philosophy in and around the breakdown, it's a very, very well-coached team, this, and that's why we're putting teams to bed at the moment.
We're looking at some of those, some of the ruck areas we were able to get the turnover, but it is not, I don't think it is happy there. And former Stormers coach, right? Like you, the two of you. But it's our tackle fight, and I think here's a good example. See Gerard Steenekamp, Zachary Porton.
That is immense what he's doing.
Second action, yeah.
And then again, good tackle by Reinach.
Yeah, if you look at that, that tackle fight forces extra cleaners to come into that breakdown. Then all of a sudden, Japan doesn't have much numbers to attack with on the outside. What's really cool about it is that it's not a guy coming from outside. It's usually the tackler getting up with bodies on top of him, pushing them back.
Yeah. Just have a look at Zach Porton when he's at that ruck. I mean, look there, 1, 2, 3, 4,
just one person.
and just one Springbok there.
Yeah.
Slow ball, and they've lost the numbers, race, and shape.
Yeah.
I mean, there was an incident actually early in the game, Jean, where Zach Porton actually did that and was on when Japan were trying to exit, and he was on his own and he was absolutely smashing that ruck and he kept on getting up and going and going again. There were 4 or 5 of them in the breakdown, and you could hear the Springboks just encouraging Zach to do it. Yeah. So it's a massive part of the game, massive.
Again, Mani, not a dominant tackle, but doing his job.
Technique.
Leg tackle.
Look at that technique.
Yeah, coming off the bench, and it's not as if you're going backwards in terms of the standards. Kwagga Smith on the ball, great turnover.
Yeah, and that wins us the territorial battle. It gives us transitions. It's a huge part of our game. And we're doing it against the best in the world. And this is one of the best attacking sides around. When they're on song, but we didn't allow them anything.
Yeah.
Spoke about the kicking game. We now saw the breakdown lineouts. Rito, I mean, this is your area that you love. Yeah. We were able to get a hell of a lot of back ball.
Yeah.
In this game, and I think if we can do that, and if we can develop even more and get some nice plays going, we're going to be so dangerous. They started with a more conservative play, but the deeper we went, you just saw so many variation. Then we get the back ball and we playing off it. Then there's a bit of a different shape that we're doing. Then we're actually mauling off of it.
Yeah.
And added to that, I think the maturity, Rob, of a Sacha as well in going to the kick in the aerial battle a little bit sooner also. I think it shows that, he's getting more comfortable in that. We know he's a talented player, but he's getting more comfortable in that fly-off role and really directing the play in the right direction.
Let Rito talk about that.
Yeah, I thought what was impressive was, the tempo they tried to sort of come into the lineup with didn't give the opposition to start moving around a bit. And I thought the simpler they kept the lineouts, the better they got at it.
Yeah.
They beat the guys with a good drill next to them, and it was quite impressive. And I think the 2 lineouts that we lost was actually too much movement. But when we picked a position, came in with tempo, and beat the opposition with good drills, we dominated them. Look at that.
Yeah.
Nice and fast. They can go up right next to you, but, you get in there early, make sure it's a good
I think it was a
lift.
criticism of us, in terms of that All Black game at Eden Park. We were slow, Rito. We were slow. We were talking about tempo in the line-out. Sculler was mentioning about how slow we were.
Yeah.
But, you've picked up on it now. The tempo to our line-out is just...
Jumping nicely.
And that's giving us the best options, right?
Absolutely. If you can take that back a little bit, 10 seconds, I just want to show you how effective these guys are when they want to maul. And I'll tell you when to pause, John. Pause it here. Look at that. You think about, you want to stop that maul now. Look, they already there waiting. Look at the
7
Japanese guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're still far away. We're ready to punch and run with that maul. So that work rate for the Siya, Steenkamp, Visa, and Luo to come around and square up there plays a massive role in how effective your maul can be. And I thought they were really good. Look at the lift. Look at Zek at the back. Look at the throw. Makes height.
Yeah.
Now we're ready to go.
Rito, can I ask a question in terms of what they're allowed to do? So they're not allowed, Siya and those guys, they're not allowed to leave the lineup until the ball leaves the hooker's hands, right?
Yes.
So if you talk about tempo, the speed of movement to be in that position to then set that maul is incredible, right?
Yeah, extremely important.
Because if they leave before, then it's an automatic penalty or short time.
Absolutely. But with the back ball, it's so much easier, because it's got a long way to travel. Then the guys can go. If it's a front ball, they tend to go out a little bit early.
But your point, though, is fundamentally they're far quicker lineup.
Yeah,
fast.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it forces the opposition into then the late sack because they were competing. If that thing stays up, that's a try. That's a try. Ditto for our competing, really good. In position, quick, and then going up in the back.
Yeah, that's what makes this Bok contesting system also work well. Very, I want to say rigid in terms of they won't want to give you back ball, especially in their half. They won't want to give you middle ball. So if I was Japan, I would have just tried to take that front ball and have a little bit of ball, but very disciplined in their plan, and it bear some fruits.
Yeah, and I mean, you speak about that, force them into taking the front ball. Here we see that. They do get that front ball, do a bit of a play around that, and now it's okay, now defensively, you need to match up as well.
Yeah.
And we did exactly that. We could have been in trouble there, but I thought a fantastic read from Sacha.
Yeah, again, in a defence system, that's so confident at the moment that players are allowed to make decisions.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. He's made a key decision there, a great read. You'll see it from this angle here. He's got, we've got them covered basically. I probably would have had a little go at Reinek there maybe, but Sacha's made a great read and he's allowed to make that decision in the current system.
But again, and they'll only get better at it, the more they play together.
Yes.
But, if you look here, so at this stage, 9 on hooker, Siya on the wing.
Yeah.
Then we see them actually splitting. Siya almost falls for the dummy, but hits in. And the next guy on his outside is Sacha. So the next guy that gets the ball, Sacha will be...
He's got in between them, yeah.
Will be his.
Yeah.
But what Sacha does is he goes on. He started outside of Leach, so he was outside of Leach, moved on his inside. The ball carrier had 4 options, but all the options were on the outside of Sacha. So he cut off all those options by going for the intercept. Fantastic read.
And even before that, John,
look
if
there.
you go back to Malcolm Marx and his effort or work rate to then cover the space on the inside, they're all on the same page, you know.
Yeah.
So there's maybe a little bit of an opportunity, but he's there.
Yeah.
You see, he's covered that guy on the switch. So they're all working together. They know exactly what they're doing, and that breeds a lot of confidence.
100%, especially if you have a system like that close to your try line. Give front ball, take away middle and front. If they take front ball, you smash them all to the touchline.
Yes.
Then the plan has to be linked to the
The
backs.
hook has got to fold.
Exactly. Who's defending? If they twist that ball, who's going to tackle the first guy, the second guy? So it all sort of in sync. It works really well together.
Okay, defense, that leads us into the defense, Fleck. You were saying the defense was really impressive. I thought, really good, just being able to buy us some time, and then again, the competing at the breakdown.
Yeah, look, John, I think that's, it's a little bit different to what we used to under Ninaba, and I think, in this situation, it's an exit line from Japan, and we give them a bit of space. But then, what happens after that, Again, hard on the ball at the breakdown. That's Estes who makes that turnover. And now we've got an opportunity to jam. And I just feel that our defence in this game was absolutely spot on and where we would like to go. I think there's still one or two defensive areas that we need to look at. Especially if somebody tries to take us in and around the ruck. There was one little inside ball from Japan early in the game. They got a little line break there. At times they find space, if you're going back to the return side, so you're going back to the touch line, they get that bridge ball over the top. They had once or twice New Zealand exposed us. And that's purely because we're a little bit short in and around on the short side because we're contesting at the breakdown, or we tend to overfold so that we can set nice and early to get off the line again. But I'll take one or two of those things over, I'd rather have a proper, complete, defensive system that we've got at the moment, hard in the breakdown, giving us turnovers, than worried about one or two, small things.
So, defensively, again, solid performance. There can always be improvement. We spoke about the kicking game earlier, but this element of the game I really liked as well, to see that, okay, we're setting up for the box kick, but then a set play where we're saying, okay, let's have a bit of a go first before we kick. You'll see Grant just going, but then Kurt-Lee, set play, have a go on the outside because you've got numbers.
Yeah.
Didn't make it through, secure the ruck.
Yeah. I thought this was smart, Jack. If you can take it a few seconds back, similar picture to what we saw earlier, go back to that breakdown. And I know Mani would have a little bit more. Mani would have been very sharp at this. Yeah, that's fine, played. So now he's looking up, he's looking up.
He's looking
he's shaking, and then played, and then you'll see the prop starts going back. You see, he's left the line to go lift leads. Now all of a sudden, these guys were all shoulders turned to go protect that box kick, and then Manu would have called it, which is really nice of them to do that, because then you're starting to play the space that is available. You're not really rigid on going for the box kick. The guys start moving back, you attack them.
You've had a go, didn't get the meters you wanted, and now you go back into your shape, into the box kick. They're just outside their 22. Fantastic box kick.
Rito, you coach the forwards and you're an ex-forward player yourself. How tough is it for a forward now to be trying to defend the Springboks? You have to stop them at scrum time. You have to stop their mauls. You have to contest their line-out. Now you have to stop their ball carrying, and then you've got to be involved in the kicking game, because you either got to put pressure on the kicker or you've got to get back and help your man at the back there. So you're continuously being asked questions of yourself physically the whole time and tactically.
Yeah.
The Springboks are a very, very difficult side to defend at the moment. What do you think?
No, absolutely. And if there's a scrum, you're going to concede a penalty. Straight after that, you're going to stop them all. Might score a try. The next thing you kick to them, they'll kick it back. You have to add extra numbers to that breakdown in order to protect it. If you kick it back, they'll play 1-2 phases, send it back. So that pack is always running forward. Like I said earlier, we were very fortunate, the backs did really well in making sure that we actually run more forward than backwards in this game. So you'll see when the ball gets kicked onto us, we don't actually even sprint much, because everyone's so aligned, understands the plan. We're jogging back because of the pond low where you can't stand. So we're just jogging lightly, and then we know Sacha's going to send it back. We're going to make the tackle there. Then we've actually conserved a lot of energy, whereas their pack has to run back and save that breakdown. So it's really tough. You're running a lot, and you're having to face that high level of physicality.
And then you have to stop balls like this as well. You had one point to make about just how we Are we now?
Yeah, I thought it was quite impressive. You know, I don't want to say we do something similar or they saw it from us. But very smart way of shifting the angle of the mall. Past couple of years, the mall has been a square fight. And what these guys have done is sort of change the angle. If you look at Ox Nche, he turns his back and becomes the base. Usually it's the jumper with his back turned, but now the jumper becomes like a driver. And Arhe Snyman is pushing onto Ox Nche, and it forces the Japanese players to sort of shift to the inside. And we get that front door and we run with that mall. So if you look as it plays now, you'll see how all of a sudden they start falling to the other side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we run with them there. There's only like 3-4 guys left.
Sure, that's tough to defend.
Yeah, I was actually very careful not to say a lot there because yeah, we still want to score a couple more tries. Look at that, he turns around.
Turns around.
Boom, numbers game, we'll never win.
Okay, guys, so we saw the try being scored, the first try from Siya. After that, you know, plenty of tries that we saw, and this guy, Sacha, as well, he's just on a try-scoring streak at the moment.
Yeah, and again, isn't that his second kick that he's chased and scored a try from in the last couple of tests? So just his intent to get the ball back. His kicking game was unbelievable this weekend, and that's probably been one area that has been criticised, but he was excellent.
And getting in the air.
Yeah.
You know, because it didn't seem as if he was going to get there, but then going up forward, because that actually creates the ball to, when you see that contact, creates the ball to go loose.
Yeah.
And he scores a try. I mean, he's in such a rich vein of form, eh?
Yeah, no, he's doing really well. Just to emphasize, Fleck, what you said earlier, everything with this Boks team is a contest.
Yeah.
You know, if they kick, they're going up, you're not catching it clean. A scrum is a contest, a breakdown is a contest. Makes it really tough to play against them.
This one I love, just the pace.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a fly-off that's a threat, like, you know, if you think of Carter, if you think of Pollard when he came onto the scene as well, the ability to put pressure on the opposition defence with the pace of the fly-off.
Yeah. And Jean, you know, when South Africa's in a bit of trouble there, it's not great attack by South Africa. You know, that slow ball, not many options on, but physically he's just, and athletically he's just made them look, you know, silly. He cleans up a lot when it's not fast ball, he'll take it up. He counter-attacks from the back. That physical presence of his is immense for South Africa at the moment.
Look at that. Nice dummy.
Yeah, it's just individual skill, you know.
Yeah.
Got taught that at Bishop's.
I'm sure he did.
What?
Yeah. Were you coaching him? No. No. But I mean, yes, it is coaching, but that's just
No.
That's just pure talent and individual ability.
Talent, yeah.
And like they say, you know, pace. You can't coach pace.
No.
Nice handoff, acceleration after that, balance to get through.
It's tough, you know. You've got this guy performing at the heights that he is, and they take him off and they bring on Marnie, and I think there were 30 points scored in the last 25 minutes. You know, when Marnie came in. Not to say that he was the difference. The team played well. Where's their space for Pollard?
Yeah.
The way the two of them are playing.
I think with you know, this is the penalty try again. You know, when you're not under siege from the back line, and you know, and try and just stop big runners. Now it's trying to stop
it more. Yeah. And Japan decided to stay on the ground, so you give away the most dangerous ball there, middle ball.
But Flecky, to answer your question, I think that's the beauty of this squad now, is that it's horses for courses. You know, who's the opposite? Who are you playing against? What does the weather look like in terms of conditions?
Yeah.
You know, and then you select whoever fits in with that.
Imagine trying to analyze this team.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
Which flyer are they picking?
But then also, guys, let's just celebrate. Let's just celebrate Wilco Low. Okay, the runny line. Okay, so the pass goes behind his back. Yeah. He runs through a support line as a prop, and he will never, ever forget this moment.
Sean?
And by the time he hits 40, that would have been from 50 meters. Not from
When he was last at the Stormers, 10 out of 10 times Rito, he would have dropped that. 100%. But the growth in this guy's game, you know, by going to Harlequins in a skillful setup, you know, with an attacking mindset, now in the Springbok setup where they're encouraged, I mean, that's just a great skill set from Wilco.
Yeah. It's great to see. But look at the lead up to it, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Passing
Keep it
on the
alive.
front line.
The smallest guy trying to bump the player, then nice hands. I mean, Cheslin at 15, what did you make of that, Rob?
Yeah, I thought he did nicely. You know, he had a lovely little line break at the end, and you know, one or two, you know, little attacking kicks, you know, across the field. But yeah, it depends on, you know, what the opposition, I would think, as well. When there's a big kicking game against us, you know, how does he go? But he was good. You know, he was really good. You know, I don't know who the Bok 15 is going to be going forward. He's going to take over from Villiers, but I suppose Damian Willemse is there. But you know, it's I like him there. To be honest, I prefer him there.
Yeah, and Fassi obviously out injured. So you've got guys competing in every single position.
Yeah.
Japan eventually getting a try as well. Was it inevitable? Was it always going to happen with one man short at this stage?
Yeah, I think Springboks, you know, the Springboks will be disappointed with this, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean,
caught off guard a little bit.
Yeah, it's a soft try, you know. I don't think Japan did enough the entire game to deserve 7 points, but credit to them, you know.
Yeah.
They got them off
It's a tricky one to defend.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you just can't get back quick enough. Eh?
Yeah. You just needed the ref to say, no, wrong mark.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it happens so many. So, you know, in that situation, he blows the whistle. The guy's already got the ball in his hand. You know, it's so easy to just move the 2 meters and take the quick tap. So credit to them for having that ambition, taking the quick tap and scoring the try. Guys that can score tries would be our guys with the scrum caps on.
So, Jean, I was actually very impressed with Kurt-Lee
Kurt-Lee.
Arendse. I thought he was outstanding. You know, welcome back to form. You know, on the transitions in the air, defensively, everything about him. He's an exceptional rugby player.
Yeah.
And I thought he was, you know, for me, he was almost man of the match in my. Who did?
He was man of the match.
Was he?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I went for a beer.
Yeah. Sure. You didn't see that. Okay. No, he was man of the match.
Was he? Okay, well,
But-
there we go.
But again, the execution of the kick, the ability to contest, then the scraps on the ground, getting back. I mean, Kurt-Lee was the guy contesting, went to ground,
up.
check, get backs up, the kick through, and the try. I mean, with Damian Willemse fit, and you have Ethan Hooker, and you have Cheslin, and you have Kurt-Lee. I mean, we'll get into the game for the weekend, the France game now, but I mean, that's going to be a difficult selection criteria. This is why I asked about Cheslin at fullback. I mean, the ability to do this,
line break at the end,
work back. He's, you know, the way he busts tackles as such a small guy.
No, it's incredible. I mean,
Look at that.
but again, you know, he could do that from the wing. You know, where
Yeah, true. Yeah. But it comes back to your point, Rito, in that when the backs are making good decisions, and when your team is going forward, I mean, look there, boom,
that's the key thing going forward.
going forward.
Yeah,
You know, it makes it so much easier for the big boys.
absolutely. It must be really nice for this pack to play with these backline players, considering they stick well to the plan and keep them going forward.
Yeah. We speak about backs and forwards.
Not the best line-up.
Well, yeah.
You see, they're playing a special play that didn't work out there.
One guy that's still trying to decide what he is.
He's cleaned that breakdown, by the way.
Yeah, there you go. Andre Estes, again, nice
Around the
play.
corner.
Estes around the corner.
Boom.
I mean, guys, that's a big carry.
Yeah.
Whether he's a forward or whether he's a back,
Yeah.
that's a big carry.
Yeah. What's nice is the guys around him. You know, he gets sort of looks like he's getting stopped, and then
Punch him through.
they punch him through contact. Makes
The
it
work rate to
difficult.
go from that breakdown to come out and be the first cleaner. Check him working hard around the corner there.
Yeah.
He wants that ball.
Should have never played center.
Do you reckon? Well, he looks comfortable in that position at the moment. You know, he ticks a lot of boxes, and he provides the flexibility from a selection point of view.
Yeah, so he's the hybrid player,
Yeah.
John. I still believe he's a centre. I love him at 12. You know,
Yeah.
he's a great player there. He's earned his Springbok colours as a 12, but he's now fulfilling this role, as you say, Rito, of the new hybrid player. Every team's going to have one or two in their side, and he's going to play that role.
It was such a nice way to finish it off from the kick. You know, Jesse, such a hard work in that midfield, and ditto for Damien de Linde. You know, you don't maybe see them on the scoreboard that often, but the work that they do in and around ruck time, tackles, defense.
I thought they both played
organisation.
really well.
Yeah.
I thought both the midfielders played exceptionally well, and it seems to me that Jesse's quite a popular leader, you know, in the group. You know, he's got the ear of everyone, he's got the respect of everyone. He's a good man, works hard. So,
Guys, so that is how it ended. We've got our WeBuy moment of the week, and what you need to decide on is what's your favorite moment of the week of the game that we just saw. I know what my favorite moment is.
Wilco.
Wilco, yes, there we go. I was hoping all three of us would say the same. Wilco Low, first try for the Boks. I don't know when we will see it again, but a fantastic try in that. Let's quickly go the preview for France this weekend. Will we see a lot of changes in the team? And if so, where?
You just never know with the Springboks. You know, it's tough to predict, but I'm looking at the front row with Ox missing out.
Obviously, yeah. So is it just straight Gerard Steenekamp coming in, or Thomas de Toy?
Well, I would actually keep Gerard on the bench.
Okay.
Leave him with Grobler and Wilco, the Bulls front row. There's good cohesion there. And then you put Thomas there, and then tight head would be...
Who's that tight head?
Jeez. If we're going to put Thomas at...
No, but who was the tight head on the weekend?
No, it was Zach.
Oh, so
It was
Zach.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll
that's a
put
big.
Zach.
That's a big.
Oh, yeah.
Big ask.
I don't know if Zach will start that game.
Yeah.
So Azanati has joined the
Asnati
squad
is
as
there.
well.
That might be the...
That might be the thing.
Thomas
At loose head, Azanati, tight head.
and Malcolm at hooker. That's a strong front row starting. And then you come with I don't want to say mobile because Wilco is there, but that second front row would have more cohesion. They play club rugby together, so I think that might work out well.
Well, locks. He's saying locks. Yeah. I mean, surely Eben starts. It seemed as if a Franco Mostert actually, Ruan Orkia actually pipped Loot eventually, and Franco Mostert in terms of that number 5 lock berth when we look at the rugby championship. Might it be the two of them? These two didn't do badly. Maybe it's...
Lot played well.
I look at Lot as almost like a 4-5 hybrid type guy. So I would have him against a big pack with either Eben or Arche. So I would keep Lot there. And to be honest, I would also move Mostert on to lock on the bench. Peter Steph comes up.
Yeah.
Would you have Mostert on the bench? I reckon we'll see a 7-1 split again this week.
Good.
Yeah.
100%.
With Esterhuizen kind of being in the mix there. And then you might have a Eben and Ruan Orkia, and then Arche and Loot on the bench, or other way around.
Whichever way you don't
But all four of those probably, I think Franco Mostert will probably miss out. Peter Steph de Toy definitely comes in on the flank, so you have Siya, Peter Steph, and Jasper. Kobus or Grant starting, I think they're very similar.
I would say that it would be Kobus, and then if it's going to be a 7-1 or 6-2, then obviously Grant will be on the bench.
Damien Willemse at fullback.
Yeah, that would be my pick. Certainly, he brings a lot of solidness to the back there, experience in the kicking game. He's brilliant in the air. He's brilliant in busting tackles. You know, for me, he's the number 1 fullback in the world, I feel.
Yeah. And midfield then, do you go, because the Willems Moody combination was a nice one, then you can't go that and you go with the experienced two guys.
Yep. But then it's who's on the wing.
Who's on the wing?
Yeah.
So
For me, it's Arendse, the way he played, and he obviously, you say he got man of the match, and then obviously Chesney on the right. So I think Ethan actually misses out.
Yeah, well,
Tough.
it's a good position to be in.
Yeah.
The threat from France. I mean, where do you see us winning this game? Let me put it that way.
I think it's going to sound like a general answer. We just need to make that big pack work. Same sort of template that we had this week. Kick, and when they kick back, we first run it back, and then we kick it back and make that pack work. Keep going forward. Eventually, our opportunities will come. Get into the 22, that's when we really good. Come around the corner, opportunities will come. If it doesn't look good, Sacha will break the line.
Yeah.
We just need to play the game in the right area.
Back in 2022, that's exactly what we did.
Exactly,
Unfortunately, it was a Peter Steff red card on the day, but we pushed them close that day. And we'll see
I think Rito's spot on. That's exactly what the Springboks will do, and they'll take a lot of comfort in that plan that they did a couple of years ago. Is it
in Paris?
Yeah, and we've won the last couple there. So
Yeah.
we lost in Marseille 2 years back or whenever it was, but the rest of the times we played it
in Paris,
we've done well. And but I agree with in terms of the game plan. You're spot on.
And,
Guys,
sorry, I was going to say,
go, Rito.
We mustn't get bored with the play,
No.
especially Sacha, whoever the fluff is the 9. Let's kick that ball, put pressure, contest it. Then
Yeah, and still be open to when the opportunities arise, have a go. We've got the players.
Yeah.
Rito, the show is called The Verdict because you have to give your honest verdict on the performance from the Boks. So before we close it up, out of 10, what do we score the Boks for this game, performance-wise?
Japan game.
The Japan game.
Because it's Japan, I'll give them a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Flecky?
I would like to say 8. You know, I thought we were.
You can
very,
say
very
whatever you like.
So when they play well, they must get their high rating.
Not
They
true,
played well.
and it was a solid performance all around.
Yes.
Defensively good, attacking
And the
using
execution of a brilliant game plan.
So let's settle on a 7.5 because we want them to be so much better this weekend against France. Massive game. Gents, thank you very much. Rito, any last words before we say goodbye?
Thanks for having me. It was good
It's been
fun.
lovely. We'll definitely have you back again. So thanks for that, and good luck for the Stormers as well for the rest of the season. Flecky,
Cheers, John. Thank you.
anything from you?
No, all good.
Nothing?
Thank you.
Your hair's very grey. these days. Guys, that wraps it up for us. A
Coaching.
7.5 performance from the Boks against Japan. This week's challenge against France will be immense. They have not forgotten what happened in the quarterfinal at the Rugby World Cup. Let's see if they can be better. Hopefully the Boks can be better. Hopefully they can put up a massive performance because this will be a huge game to make 2025 a success for the Springboks. Can they win again? Only time will tell. Cheers.